if a mom has taught her little girl that you be careful, beware of strangers, strange men, and she's in a restroom and a guy comes in and the little girl reacts, or her mom's in there and feels like she's defending her daughter who's freaking out, they've committed a hate crime. And in the case of the flasher, he's the victim, she's the hater. This is how strained this kind of law has become. We should not be taking away somebody's right to keep and bear arms, should not be infringing on that simply because somebody reacted to what used to be called a pervert and now is being called a victim. I yield back.
Gentleman yields back. The gentlelady from Texas, Ms. Escobar.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move to strike the last word.
Gentlelady is recognized.
I cannot tell you how distressing it is for me to hear a dismissive account of hate crimes. 5.5 weeks ago, a killer drove to my community, one of the safest communities in the nation for decades, one of the safest communities in the nation. He drove to my community in order to slaughter Mexicans and immigrants. And he walked into a store deliberately targeting us. I have 2 kids, one of whom is in the audience, my daughter. And I have to worry about the color of my kids' skin. Those who don't have to worry about hate crimes don't have to fear things like that. You know, in this country, there's 2 things that we're talking about today, and it's so right that we are talking about both of them on the same day. I was afraid that this bill was going to get kicked over into tomorrow, and I was hoping it wouldn't. Because we don't just have a gun violence epidemic in this country, we have a hate epidemic in this country. And it has been fueled over and over and over again with language that is racist and bigoted, language that is intended to divide the good people of this country, language that is intended to make us fear those who look differently, love differently, come from different places, language that has made us forget exactly what we have been taught. One of my colleagues mentioned a quote about losing our moral center. We have lost our moral center when we no longer see human beings with dignity and grace, the dignity and grace that they were born with, when instead we call them illegal, or we look for ways to separate them, or we look for ways to target them. Well, my people, my community has been targeted. We have had a target placed on our back because of the color of our skin. The day that your folks are massacred, then I can be lectured about hate crimes and how we should dismiss them and how they are meaningless. Hate crimes are not meaningless, or the designation of them is not meaningless. This is about accountability. This is about holding people accountable for the words that they say and the actions that they take. And I thank my colleague, Representative Cicilline, for bringing this legislation forward. I thank my colleagues here today on Judiciary who are standing with people who have been targeted. The best way for us to regain our moral high ground in this country is to begin reconnecting with our compassion and our humanity. And I support your bill, Mr. Cicilline. Thank you. I yield back my time.
The gentlelady yields back. Are there any further amendments